Man, I'm not gonna lie. If you had told me a year ago, in 2022, that this player would be this good right away in this sort of capacity with the Buffalo Sabres, not only would I have been kind of skeptical, not because I doubt the player and his talent, but because this is just normally what we're used to when it comes to players like this, but I might have even called you crazy at the same time. Let's talk today about the hottest goaltending story the NHL has right now in the form of Buffalo Sabres goaltender Devon Levi. And notice, I said Buffalo Sabres goaltender and not Buffalo Sabres prospect or Northeastern goaltender or young guy, up-and-coming guy, whatever. This is a guy who is here and who is doing his thing now. And he made his debut with the Buffalo Sabres yesterday in a game against the New York Rangers. Now, if you had been following just what had been going on, you probably would have seen a Levi highlight or two pop up on your social media feed. And for good reason, too. Devon Levi had himself nothing short of a game against the Rangers, where he had several highlight reel saves and came away with the victory at the end of the day in overtime. The ultimate decision here is 3-2 Buffalo in OT against New York, with Jeff Skinner scoring the game-winning goal. And if you go over to the numbers, Levi had 2 saves in the first period, 8 saves in the second period, 1 goal against, and 20 saves in the third period, 1 goal against as well. 2 saves in overtime makes it a total of 32 saves on 34 shots against, which, if you do the math right here, 32 divided by 34, that was a .941 save percentage on the night in his first NHL game. There was an absolute beauty one-time opportunity by Kaapo Kakko, cross-crease on the right side that was denied by Levi. You also had yourselves Adam Fox on the power play, sending one towards the slot where Vincent Trocheck tips it on goal, but Levi gets the pad out and makes a spectacular save too. After Jeff Skinner scored the game winner in overtime, he immediately skated around and pointed to Levi, and the entire team went out there and celebrated with their goaltender as he had won his first game in his NHL career. But the reason we're making this video, not only because it's kind of, vindicating for me, for you, for all of us who have been keeping up to date with Levi and his career so far, but we're also making this video because of how rare and peculiar this entire situation really is for a guy who was just a prospect a few days ago. I mean, I guess you could technically say he still is a prospect. He won't lose his Calder eligibility for next season, no matter how many games he plays to end off 22-23. But the thing is with Devon Levi, he is still only 21 years old. Drafted by the Florida Panthers back in the 2020 NHL Entry Draft, 7th round guy, as we have said, making videos and having conversations about Devon Levi is nothing new on the channel. And for the most part, it's almost always just been, hey, look at this guy at the World Juniors who is doing amazingly well. Look at this guy in the NCAA who is doing amazingly well. He's arguably the best goalie in the entire league. And it's kind of crazy because he just wrapped up another season where he was as good as he has been, and we made all the videos this season talking about that, etc., etc. We know how good he has been at the collegiate level. But to see a 21-year-old guy play multiple seasons in the NCAA and then come over to his NHL team right away and do what he did against New York, now that is absolutely special. And no, I'm not going to go out there and start overreacting, saying that Devon Levi isn't just the future, but he's also the now. I don't want to go out there and make it seem like Levi is ready for a 40 to 50 game campaign in the NHL. He's ready to play 40 to 50 games in one season and be the starter. That's probably not the case. But at the very least, it is still really good and assuring to note how competent he played against NHL competition in his first game's worth of action last night. Now, of course, we're going to see what the Sabres do to end off the season. They have another game later today. I doubt Levi gets a back-to-back decision and plays 2 nights in a row on his first NHL game day or whatever, but still, the fact is, the option is now there to have this guy as a legitimate member of the roster day in and day out. And again, that is super rare, not just for NCAA guys in particular, coming over from the collegiate system who had only really played 2 seasons. He technically played 3, but in the first one he didn't have any games played. But it's even rarer for goaltenders to come out there and do the same thing. Goalies normally take time, and it isn't really often you see somebody like Carter Hart, for example, who plays so well in a junior setting and then eventually becomes an NHL guy right off the bat without significant AHL time. It's very rare just to see this happen, and the fact that we're seeing it here with Devon Levi is all the more special. Now, sure, I'm not going to discredit the idea, okay, maybe he does get some time with the Rochester Americans next season if the Buffalo Sabres feel like that would do him well in some sort of a conditioning role, who really knows. But as we had said, the option is there. If they did decide to keep Devon Levi up, let's say he finishes off this season with, 4 or 5 total games played with the Sabres, and he has maybe a 9-10 save percentage out of all of them combined. Like, I'm not going to go out there and say he's going to get a 940 every single game he plays. If that was the case, then okay, call this guy the next Dominator already, but just have him as a guy who is capable of being there and competent enough. If he was able to get that amount of numbers for the next few games and they decided to keep him up next season, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, this guy has already proven that he's kind of ready to be here. And you saw just the athleticism, the way he anticipates plays, his rebound control, his calmness in goal yesterday against New York, that it's part of the reason he was even able to get the W in overtime. I'm no ice hockey goalie, especially one who has been highly touted as a prospect ever since they were in their junior days, but would it not be kind of nerve-wracking playing your first NHL game and going into overtime after only allowing 2 goals to the Rangers and making a whole bunch of crazy saves on guys like Panarin and Kakko and everybody like that? Like, that's nuts. Just absolutely nuts seeing what he was able to do in his very first taste of NHL action. Sure, there were a few clips of, like, practice shootouts that he was able to stop as well, which were also kind of fantastic, but at the end of the day, results matter in the NHL, and for a team like Buffalo that is maybe going to start going on a heater sometime soon, having a guy like Devon Levi as the ace in your sleeve, not just to end off this season, but also to start off 23-24 as well, this could be a really interesting development when it comes to how the Buffalo Sabres function as a team next season in terms of their on-ice results and more. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Devon Levi and the way that he was able to play against the Rangers. There were a few highlight reel saves that did stand out to me. What stood out to you? What do you think was the more impressive showcase of talent in last night's game? Was it that save on Kaapo Kakko where he was sprawling out and doing the splits to guard that cross crease? Was it the Vinny Trocheck tip on goal that was knocked away? Was it his very first save in the game where he snatched the puck out of midair with the glove as it was shot towards him? Levi had himself a game where he looked comfortable, he looked calm, he looked poised, and he looked, best of all, ready to be a part of the NHL's Buffalo Sabres, and that to me is the most impressive part. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below about Levi and the way that he played. I hope you enjoyed this video. Juraj 99, and bye.